Well, I find it interesting. James Harden went to the Nets, and somehow the Nets have gotten worse, and the Rockets have gotten better. It's odd. There were some games on last night. I saw you tweeting about the extremely fun Houston Rockets.
Oh, yeah.
This has been a fun team to watch, and I'm happy for Stephen Silas.
Finally.
That's my overwhelming thought. There's cool stories on there. Obviously, Wall coming back from injury, Cousins coming back from injury. Victor Oladipo can save it with everybody counted me out. And stop all that. We don't need a pity party for Victor Oladipo.
Whatever works, Chris. Whatever. Self-motivating.
I'm a huge Oladipo fan. The post-game interview, come on, bro. But anyway, there's cool stories on that. But the coolest one of all is Silas, because this is a guy that was very highly regarded, young African-American coach that was going to get his chance and then walked into a hellish situation, right? Where your best player isn't there before the season, shows up when he wants to, shows up out of shape, and it does not want to be there, is not pulling the same rope as everybody else. And it's like, geez, man, how are you going to be able to get this team to play how you want them to play? How are you going to be able to have a locker room that is, pulling the same rope? And it feels like things went behind them. They were able to attain Oladipo. So it's a downgrade, but it's certainly something that might fit better for what you're trying to do and your team, and certainly will fit better because he is eager to be there and prove himself. And just all the way around, it has been a really good story of a team that traded a superstar, but certainly has looked better since.
Sure, and they're doing it with defense. They have the number 2 defensive rating in the NBA, only behind the Clippers ever since the Harden trade, which happened on January 14th. So we're a little bit over the 2-week mark now for that deal, which, by the way, it feels like that happened 2 months ago, not 2 weeks ago. Yeah, that's crazy. It was only 2 weeks ago. But this team, there were moments in that game last night against the Blazers. And by the way, Blazers right now, they're fairly depleted. They're leaning so much on Damian Lillard and Gary Trent Jr. right now. But regardless, Houston's defense has consistently just really locked in. They're clamping up the opponent. Eric Gordon last night was only 2 of 11 from the floor, but I came away impressed by his defense. He had some possessions where he was just grinding so freaking hard on the defensive end of the floor. And that whole team seems to be bought into that mentality. Everybody is. Everybody's hustling. John Wall and Victor Oladipo and Christian Wood, the 3 best players included, they all are. And when you have that, you can win games when you're not scoring a lot of points. I mean, they're bottom 10 in offensive rating ever since the Harden trade. Mm-hmm. So they're not getting a lot of buckets, but they've also had some guys in and out of the lineup themselves too. I'm impressed by that team and the way Silas has them playing. And I think I look back to the conversation we had before the season, Chris, and I'm like, I hope Harden gives it a chance here, because I think Silas, with the tweaks to the system, with the tweaks to the lineup, having Christian Wood there, that this team could be really good. Well, we're seeing that they can be really good without James Harden. Just imagine if Harden had bought in with what this team could have been. But ultimately, what happened. And where they are now, it's pretty clear they have a good coach who can motivate this team and get them to play connected basketball. And that's encouraging.
And you got to give credit to their guys, though. I mean, you wish, or I guess there was the hope that he could buy in, but he's never going to be that energy, tenacious defender that everybody feeds off of, right? And you do need your best player bought in to be able to pull that off. You really do. Everybody has to be connected, and everybody has to be bringing that on a regular basis. What's super odd is it is almost the exact opposite of how that team has functioned for so long, which is defense. They always say defense travels. And if you bring a level of defensive intensity, you give yourself a chance to win every night. Your offense is going to come and go. Now, on the flip side, they were not a great defensive team for so many years, but offensively so potent that most nights...
They had some good defenses, though. They did over the years.
But they're not like this. their offense took care of business, right? Like that was not a team that won games because of their defense, and now they are. Generally that team was some nights. They're shooting 53s. Some nights they're hitting 22 of them, and then some nights they're hitting 13 of them. And the nights they hit 13, they lose, and the nights they hit 22, they blow you out.
Just looking back at their defenses, their only top 10 defense was in the 2017-18 season when they ranked 7th in defense, first in offense, and they were also first in the league in net rating the year that they won 65 games. So that was
their best team.
That was the year they had a great defense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's like you just said, this team is locked in and they're winning games with their defense. And I think, you look at Houston, they're getting a all-star caliber season from Christian Wood. He has been on both ends of the floor, fantastic for them. And they're getting contributions from a guy like Jayshawn Tate, who was coming off the bench, now in the starting lineup, who is bringing that energy, consistency. I love that dude. He's fun to watch.
Shout out to my guy, Chris Pongrass. I hope he's listening. He is the guy that runs the Sydney Kings. And that is, there's nothing more fun for the fans in Australia and fans of the Sydney Kings than Jayshawn Tate. What a story he is,
yeah,
really.
He's so fun,
he came out of that Australian league.
He gives you a spark anytime he's out there. It's so fun to watch those guys. And I don't know, even a Nawaba coming, deep off the bench, like their 9th or 10th guy, Sterling Brown. It's not like they don't have bad players. It's like you're saying, don't play guys who suck. They don't have many guys who suck. They have a lot of guys who bring a strong, tough mentality to the court. And that they play with consistency and with their heart, and that doesn't waver too much. And ultimately, if John Wall and Victor Oladipo and Christian Wood are bringing that consistency, the whole team is going to bring it as well. Those guys are setting the tone, and I don't know, man. They're near 500 since the deal, and I wouldn't expect them to be much better than that, moving forward.
But they're a fun team to watch.
Yes, they're competitive and they're fun.
And you can see that is a team that plays together, right? It's not one guy just dribbling out the shot clock, and every once in a while a guy takes a shot here and there.
And also bringing them to the Western Conference Finals, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, and the Nets have gotten worse.